Everyone assumes Sigma males don't get hurt because they always seem so calm and unbothered by everything. People see them shrug off insults, walk away from drama, and handle rejection like it's no big deal, so they think these guys are just emotionally bulletproof or something. But here's what most people don't realize. These men feel everything just as deeply as anyone else, if not even deeper. They just process it completely differently. While other people immediately react, vent to friends, or make their pain obvious to everyone around them, Sigma males go internal and deal with hurt in ways that are almost invisible to the outside world. This creates a weird situation where people think they can say or do whatever they want to a Sigma without consequences because he never seems to react the way they expect. They mistake his quiet processing for not caring, when really he's just handling the situation in a way that doesn't involve making his emotions everyone else's problem. The truth is, when a Sigma gets genuinely hurt, there's a whole internal process happening that nobody sees. They're not just shrugging it off and moving on like people think. They're actually doing something much more complex and, honestly, much more final than what most people do with their hurt feelings. Here are 6 things that happen when a Sigma gets hurt that most people never notice. Number 1. He hides it so well, people assume he's fine. Have you ever been going through something really painful but had to smile and act normal because people expected you to be okay? Most people can only keep that mask up for a few hours before cracks start showing, but when a Sigma male gets hurt, he can maintain that calm exterior for weeks or even months without anyone suspecting anything is wrong. This isn't because he's emotionally numb or doesn't care about what happened to him. It's actually the opposite. He feels things just as intensely as anyone else, but he's figured out that showing vulnerability to the wrong people usually makes things worse, not better. While other people process emotions by talking them out or getting visibly upset, Sigma males keep their pain private to protect themselves from further damage. The really messed up part is how this emotional intelligence works against him in the long run. People around him start thinking he's incapable of being hurt or that nothing really affects him, so they feel free to be more careless with his feelings. Friends will say things they would never say to someone more sensitive. Family members will dismiss his concerns because he seems so stable, and romantic partners will push boundaries they wouldn't dare cross with someone who wears their emotions on their sleeve. What's happening internally is completely different from what people observe externally. He might be replaying the hurtful situation over and over in his mind, analyzing what went wrong, or feeling real pain about being misunderstood or mistreated. But he's smart enough to know that showing these emotions would only give people more ammunition to hurt him with, so he processes everything privately while maintaining his composure publicly. Number 2. He withdraws, but not to sulk, to rebuild. When most people get hurt, they either become clingy and seek comfort from others, or they withdraw in a dramatic way that makes sure everyone knows something is wrong. They might post cryptic social media messages, ignore calls while making it obvious they're ignoring calls, or create situations where people have to ask what's bothering them. Sigma males withdraw too when they're hurt, but they're strategic about it in a way that most people miss completely. Instead of sulking or sending signals that they want attention and sympathy, they genuinely disappear into their own space to figure things out. This isn't about punishing anyone or making people worry about them. It's about creating the mental and emotional space they need to process what happened and plan their next moves. During this withdrawal period, something interesting happens that most people never get to see. While others might spend their alone time feeling sorry for themselves or rehearsing arguments they wish they'd had, Sigma males use this time more productively. They analyze what went wrong, identify the red flags they missed, and often come up with better strategies for protecting themselves in the future. This rebuilding process shows a level of emotional maturity that's pretty rare. Instead of just waiting for the hurt to fade away on its own, they actively work on becoming less vulnerable to the same type of damage. They might learn new skills that make them more self-reliant, develop better strategies for reading people's true intentions, or simply strengthen their emotional independence so they're not as affected by outside opinions and actions. When they finally re-emerge from this withdrawal, they're usually more focused, more selective about who gets their time and energy, and somehow more resilient than they were before. Number 3. He turns silence into a shield. Most people use words to defend themselves when they're hurt. They'll explain their side of the story, argue back when someone says something painful, or try to make the other person understand why their actions were wrong. They believe that if they can just communicate effectively enough, they can fix the hurt or at least get some kind of acknowledgement or apology. When Sigma males get hurt, they often do something much smarter and become significantly quieter than usual. This isn't the silent treatment where someone refuses to talk specifically to punish or manipulate the other person. It's more like they've realized that words are often ineffective tools for dealing with people who have already shown they don't respect boundaries, so they stop wasting energy on explanations that fall on deaf ears. This silence serves multiple purposes that show a deeper understanding of human psychology. First, it protects them from saying things in emotional moments that they might regret later, because they know that hurt feelings can make even level-headed people say things they don't really mean. Second, it gives them time to observe and understand the situation better without the distraction of trying to defend themselves or explain their perspective to people who might not be willing to really listen anyway. But here's the really clever part. They're not just protecting themselves. They're also testing the other person's character without them even knowing it. Someone who genuinely cares will notice the change and make an effort to understand what's wrong, while someone who was just using them or doesn't really value the relationship will often be relieved by the reduced communication and won't bother to dig deeper into what caused the shift. Number 4. He doesn't seek revenge, just distance. When people get really hurt by someone they trusted, the natural human response is usually some form of retaliation. This might be obvious revenge, like talking badly about them to mutual friends, trying to make them jealous, or finding ways to hurt them back. Or it might be more subtle, like passive-aggressive behavior, giving them the silent treatment as punishment, or creating situations that make them feel excluded or uncomfortable. Sigma males handle this completely differently in a way that's actually much more mature and strategic than typical revenge fantasies. Instead of trying to hurt the other person back or make them feel bad, they simply create distance between themselves and whoever caused the pain. This isn't about punishment or sending a message. It's about recognizing that some people have shown their true character, and the smart move is to limit their ability to cause future damage. The distance they create can be physical, emotional, or both, depending on the situation and how severe the hurt was. They might stop initiating contact, become less available for hangouts or conversations, or just generally invest less energy in the relationship without making a big announcement about why things have changed. To outside observers, it might look like they're just naturally drifting apart or getting busy with other things. What's really happening is much more calculated and final than most people realize. They've made a logical decision that this person has demonstrated they're not safe to be vulnerable with, so the obvious response is to reduce their access and influence. This approach is actually genius because it protects them from further harm without creating drama or burning bridges that might be useful later. The best revenge is simply not giving someone the opportunity to hurt you again. Number 5. He dives into purpose, not to heal, but to escape. When people get emotionally hurt, they usually either become less productive because they're too distracted by their feelings, or they throw themselves into work as a healthy coping mechanism to process their emotions. Mental health experts often recommend staying busy as a way to work through difficult feelings and maintain a sense of accomplishment during tough times. But when Sigma males get hurt, they do something that's both impressive and concerning at the same time. They don't just stay busy to feel better. They dive into their goals, projects, and purpose with an almost laser-like focus that can produce incredible results while simultaneously avoiding the emotional mess they're dealing with. It's like they've figured out how to turn pain into fuel for achievement. This isn't exactly healthy processing, but it's undeniably effective in the short term. Instead of working through their feelings, they work around them by creating a world where those feelings become irrelevant compared to what they're building or accomplishing. The hurt gets buried under layers of productivity and progress, which actually works better than most traditional coping methods, at least on the surface. What makes this particularly smart, in a twisted way, is how they use the emotional energy from being hurt and channel it into something constructive rather than destructive. While other people might waste months being angry or depressed, Sigmas convert that same emotional intensity into career advancement, skill development, or personal projects. People around them might even be impressed by their dedication and success, not realizing that this intense focus is actually their way of processing pain without having to deal with it directly. The downside is that this method can be so effective that they never actually heal from the original hurt. Number 6. He loses interest in small talk completely. Before getting hurt, a Sigma might engage in casual conversation, ask about your weekend, or participate in the normal social pleasantries that keep relationships feeling friendly and connected. He might not love small talk, but he understands its social function and participates enough to maintain harmony with the people in his life. After being genuinely hurt by someone, something shifts in how he approaches these surface-level interactions, and he loses the ability to pretend that meaningless chatter matters when there are deeper issues that aren't being addressed. It's like he's developed a low tolerance for fake interactions once he's seen someone's true character, and going back to casual pleasantries feels dishonest and pointless. This change is usually gradual and subtle, so people might not notice it immediately. He might still respond when spoken to, but his answers become shorter and less engaging. He stops asking follow-up questions, doesn't volunteer information about his own life, and generally treats these interactions more like obligatory social transactions than genuine attempts at connection. What's happening internally shows a pretty sophisticated understanding of relationships and energy management. Investing emotional energy in surface-level conversations with people who have proven they can't be trusted with deeper connection is basically a waste of time and mental resources. He's not being rude or trying to make things awkward. He's just become more selective about where he puts his social energy. This often makes other people uncomfortable because they can sense the shift but don't understand what caused it or how to fix it. They might try harder to engage him in casual conversation, not realizing that he's moved them to a different category in his mind, where small talk feels inappropriate given what he knows about their character. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more content on the Sigma personality and other related topics. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay strong and keep evolving.